Hopefully, I can be heard. I don't know what is going on. Why is my mic not working? Hello? Hello? This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. All right. This is crazy. I do not see the green. Oh my gosh. Come on. What in the gosh? This is killing me. This is crazy. Not working. Okay. Oh, you can hear me? You can hear me, Dolores? Oh my gosh, I was going to lose my mind because the little thing that jumps with the colors that tells me that you can hear me isn't jumping. All right. I was not going to go live tonight. But as I'm sure you have learned, they have positively identified the remains of Caleb Harris. This is so heartbreaking. The degree that they had to go to because of the advanced stage of decomposition to identify him is why it took so long. It's so just, and I did not want to be part of speculation that had been happening on social media where people were claiming it was him, well before today. And I just, that was not fair to the family. And honestly, every day they had of hope was better than a day like today. And I can't imagine what they're going through right now. I think it's just, it is just the worst possible outcome. They have sent his remains for autopsy that could take a very long time. But in this moment, today, cause and manner mean nothing. The focus should be on the full love and prayer and support to surround the Harris family. There are other days to focus on the hows and the whys, and it's not today, because for them today, none of that matters. And there are so many reasons why I tried my best not to do a lot of coverage of his case, because in his circumstances, which is why I'm doing this live to begin with, because, telling you that he's been identified and he's passed away isn't news. I'm sure all of you have been notified by a million channels right by now. The reason I just wanted to come on here briefly was this case, unlike other cases where there might be a lot of social media negativity and bashing of potential suspects, persons of interest, and things like that, which aren't great either. But um, I watched every single day in complete shock of the things that have been said about this poor young man. And I sat in these groups, and if I spoke up, um, I was called a Karen. For example, when the city worker released the video he took on his cell phone of the body in the drain, I was just chastised for that. When my point was, what right did that city worker have to do that under not only just a capacity of being a city worker, but also that this was being shared in all of these groups where family members, Caleb's grandmother, were part of these groups. And they didn't need to see that. And based on the advanced stage of decomposition that we are learning about, I don't think, they want to even see that, even if they know that that is their child. Who wants to see that? And to call that out and be called a Karen shows me some people's state of mind. And I thought to myself, maybe people can be more responsible. Maybe there's going to be some apologies for the way that this young man's family and he himself, the victim, the missing, was destroyed and trashed across social media. Everything about him was twisted and turned because it wasn't salacious enough. And so I decided to see if people were instead making these pages focused on love, support, prayers, sympathy, and here's what I find. So, if the remains were Caleb's, was it a homicide? Why have the cops not said anything yet? Just the parents? Did we have a possible serial killer that traveled to Corpus Christi? Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm skipping past all of the posts about other people that are not Caleb Harris. Um, I feel deeply for all of the people who are missing children and are truly devastated, who struggle to keep it together in interviews, who are completely broke and have no support, yet still pull everything together into finding their kids. The money this family is receiving could fund searches and resources for hundreds of children. And it's wrong that they got these donations by painting a perfect picture of an innocent, perfect Christian family This is manipulation at its finest. It's the local police and the drug traffickers drugging all homes within view, then stalking till death. Its most dangerous place on earth for the crime. I'm jumping past a bunch of this. It's disgusting. Now Caleb Harris and the local police. No, I'm not even gonna read any more of that. Prayers for Donald Trump. It came to the internet's attention that in the first couple of days of the investigation, there was stuff that stood out. Were the parents and the roommates working together to hide an accident? And just write it off as he went missing permanently. Instead of coming out, he died from an overdose. I feel a call was made late early morning to the parents, and a plan was hatched. I'm not going to read all the things that they subsequently said on that post. It's awful. Since the family is still asking for money, do you think that might be a sign that they don't think the remains are Caleb's? Did anyone have any Reddit photos? Everything on Reddit was taken down. Okay, I see Netflix in our future. Let's vote on titles. I'll go first. The Manhole. Will there be evidence in it? Pun intended. If there was no head and some limbs missing, who the hell are they? Are we going to one day just find a head in Corpus Christi? Or was the head floating in wastewater with the body? Let's find out where we stand. What happened to Caleb? Heavily leaning towards foul play. More an accident. Someone else involved. Self-harm. Ran off for a new life. What is the name of the guy from San Antonio and his roommates' names? Corpus Christi Gay Park Search. Does anyone feel it's strange that this money is being raised? What awareness are they raising it for? What could they need this for? This is our business because I feel people are being lied to. The family and those close to him have been retracting and trying to play a narrative to portray a shiny good boy, Caleb. And for this, I feel it has hindered his case. Caleb was human. No one is perfect. And if you have such a strong bond in faith, you would see he would have been forgiven for his sins. I'm going to stop. I am reading the awful, awful things that people are saying in Caleb Harris Facebook pages, but I'm going to stop now because I believe I have gotten my point across that what kind of people go to such great lengths to invent their own um, world, their own life for a young man they don't know because of Reddit posts. And then they throw all these awful labels. Nina Glass, that B, was all over social media calling him the P word, an SO, but not registered, basically. People were calling him gay. People didn't know him. People went to all these great lengths to sabotage and destroy the character of this young man because they thought that he was off doing some sick, twisted this and that. And there he was, laying in a wastewater sewer all this time, unrecognizable. And his family, his entire world fell apart. But nobody was willing to accept the fact that this young man was a good kid who came from a loving family, because that narrative was not sexy enough for them. It didn't bring enough attention. It didn't cause enough drama. It didn't bring them enough drama on Facebook. It didn't bring them enough clicks on YouTube. It's disgusting. And those people, each and every one of them, even if they are subscribed to my page, unsubscribe. It's okay. I don't want you near me because it's despicable. It's disgraceful. I just can't even. People need to remember this is someone's son. No different than when people that are close to Sebastian Rogers go on social media and YouTube and air true or false things that may or may not have been said or done, or behaviors or quirks about Sebastian that are inappropriate. It's not okay. These are the victims, and you're treating them like they're monsters. And people click and people watch and people repeat these sick things, not realizing who it affects. In the instance of Caleb's family, I have seen nothing in one single interview they have ever done or any public commentary that they have given that did not make me think that he was their world, they loved him, that he loved them, that he loved his life, and that they were a good family, and that right now their world has changed forever. But the things that have been said about him will be on the internet forever. So when people look this poor kid up, they're going to be bombarded with the nasty garbage on Facebook, YouTube, and Reddit and TikTok, when all this family wants is him to be remembered for his passions in life. Nothing people are saying about him was fact. It was assumptions. It was false narratives. What are people doing? It's okay to analyze a case, break down a case, um, speculate on what you think happened. But when you're taking the victim and trying to destroy the life and the memory of the victim, and I mean, this family hasn't been suspicious. This family just has not, they've been all hands on deck looking for their son. They're not parents who left the state. They're not parents who went on vacation. Um, no, they did everything that a family of a missing person would do. But that wasn't sexy enough for social media. And Dolores, you are correct. No one needs to show the remains of a deceased person on social media, which is why great care, if you choose to live stream search efforts, should be great care, and you should take great thought into what you're going to do with your camera if you see something ahead that looks of possible interest, because that should not be live streamed. So when people, PR people and others, suggest it be prudent to live stream search efforts, be wary, because if something pops up and that is the first thing a family member sees, that's horrible. It's horrible. So, am I sitting in maybe some judgment right now? Yeah, I am. I admit it. And that may make you like me less. But if you don't have any scruples in life, to think for 2 seconds before you write some of the disgusting things you say, then yeah, I'm judging you. I am. Because there is no place for that. And I feel terrible for this family. And I hope if anybody watches this and did make one of those disgusting comments, that they go back in those groups and delete every single one they made. And if there are admins and moderators in those groups, they should go back and clean those pages up or shut the pages down now because he's been found. Will that happen? No, because within minutes, within hours, it's within minutes of him being identified, it automatically went to, why don't we know what happened? What's going on? What is this? Give a moment for everybody who cared about that kid and everybody who followed his case to take a moment and just grieve his life. The life was lost. That's what this is about today. It's not about the case. It's not about who did what or how did it happen. There will be days for that. More will come. Siobhan, I agree. I, I'm not somebody who's all about lawsuits or anything like that. But I believe that guy should be fired or suspended or some form of reprimand for posting it. And yeah, I would think they do have a lawsuit towards the city if he was, doing that as a city worker. Who does that? And maybe he wasn't the original poster of it, but the person who filmed it and sent it to anybody else, there should be problems. So the guy said he was a city worker and he videoed it. It was clear as day. And to be honest, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to go down the road, but I compared the clothes that he was wearing in the video on the Ring doorbell. And it looked very close to what was on the body in the video and the pictures. Um, but the weight looked off. So I wasn't sure. And I certainly am not going to be the one to say, I think that's him. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not a medical examiner. I'm not going to say something preliminary when their family could see that. But it happened. It happened. And I understand now why the body looked like that of a stockier, heavier possible person because the level of decomposition. But highly inappropriate, highly inappropriate. Maybe they took the pictures in the video originally because that was how they were getting that information to their boss to get law enforcement over there. But somebody made a bad move and posted it and released it. And I don't know the name of the city worker, so I can't say if he was the one who posted it on social media, but it was put in the hands of somebody who posted it on social media, or it was the person who took it. And again, I think it's one thing when you're speculating about who may have caused harm to someone, but when you spend the majority of your time uh, dissecting and trying to interpret um, somebody's life who's missing, you know, and trash them and say awful things about them. And Nina Glass, she should rot in hell. She's sick. She's sick and she's twisted. Yes, and I agree, Mandy. Um, I just hope that everyone, just does what they can, say a prayer. If something in the future comes where there is going to be a service and somebody wanting to send flowers or a card or do a memorial, if there's a legacy.com that gets set up, I will share that information. But at this time, I think the focus should be on the Harris family and the love and the light that Kayla brought to his family and nothing else. There will be a time for all the rest. But, the reality is he's been found, and an autopsy is what is going to come next. And until there is an arrest or there is an autopsy with the findings, um, there's not much more anybody can say or do about that. So I hope everybody just puts a little effort into lifting them up in prayers and good thoughts and, again, sympathy for their loss. And I will, like I said, I will share anything that comes about. If there's going to be services, I will post the what, the where, and that information in the event anybody that watches is local and would like to attend, or if someone wanted to send a card or a flower, or post something on like a funeral home page, with condolences. Um, But it's a heart it is it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking, um, just devastating. And it really made me think about, like, what if there's a moment like this with Sebastian Rogers, and um, it just gave me chills. Um, I don't know. And we don't know if it was foul play. We don't know if it was an accident. Um, we just don't know. So, again, I really wasn't, I was debating coming on live tonight, but that was like before I heard this news. So I don't find it appropriate for me to do other case related discussion um, with this going on. And I have the Katrina Bauer hearing tomorrow, so I imagine tomorrow evening there'll be discussion related to that. So I don't think I'm going to be coming back on later. Um, and I do appreciate everybody who tuned in. I'm sorry I didn't get to say hi to everybody, but I just wanted to kind of come on and give my piece about how how I'm feeling, which is mad, about the way Nina Glass was. She tried to search, and that was before she got sent by Tony to potentially search for Sebastian. But she then started spreading rumors that, things Caleb did, would get him federal charges, and, just, oh, wouldn't believe what was on his computer. She doesn't know shit. Excuse my language. She doesn't know nothing. She doesn't have any insight into the investigation. And I will say this, as they listed the Corpus Christi Police Department, were listing their thank yous to this is directly from the police department. I'll just read the whole thing. Forensic analysts at the University of North Texas Center for Human Identification have determined that the human remains found inside a city wastewater lift station last month are those of Caleb Harris. City workers conducting maintenance at the Perry Place wastewater lift station discovered the remains inside the collection well during the afternoon of Monday, June 24th, and immediately contacted police. The remains, which bore no obvious signs of homicide, were transported to, I'm going to try to pronounce this word, the Nueces County Medical Examiner's Office for examination. Due to the advanced state of decomposition, the medical examiner's office was unable to make an identification, nor provide a manner or cause of death at that time. The remains were then sent to the UNTCHI for DNA analysis, along with DNA samples from Harris's parents. According to the missing persons DNA report issued today, the remains are approximately 2.4 sextillion times more likely to be observed if the unidentified remains originated from a biological child of Caleb Harris's parents, rather than if the unidentified remains originated from an unrelated individual from the Caucasian population. Texas A&M Corpus Christi student Caleb Harris disappeared from his off-campus apartment in the foggy early morning hours of March 4th. The Corpus Christi Police Department organized an exhaustive search of hundreds of acres surrounding Harris's apartment complex in the days and weeks following his disappearance. Corpus Christi Police Department resources involved in the search included the drone team, bike team, enduro unit, 83rd Police Academy class, search and recovery dive team, directed patrol officers, and additional resources include the Coast Guard, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Port of Corpus Christi Police Department Marine Unit, Texas Search and Rescue, student volunteers from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, along with countless civilian volunteers. I read that noting that the Nina Glass's search and rescue team was not among the list. An investigative team consisting of investigators from police departments, criminal investigation division, and organized crime unit. The FBI, the United States Marshal Service, and the Texas Rangers was formed within days of Harris's vanishing. Over the course of the following months, investigators executed over 50 digital search warrants and submitted 82 preservation requests and analyzed over 1,500 gigabytes of data. The remains will be returned to the Nueces County Medical Examiner's Office, which will then issue the final autopsy reports. Although the remains have been identified as Caleb Harris, this investigation remains open. If you have information regarding this investigation, please contact Corpus Christi Police Department Criminal Investigation Division at 361-826-2840, or you can submit an anonymous tip at Crime Stoppers 888-TIPS, 888-8477. And while there are many condolences on that report or statement, there's just, it continues. Well, now the city needs to explain how he ended up in there. It's just, is the killer on the loose? If only the dog could talk. So curious how he ended up there. Just, people can't help themselves. They just can't. So it's all I have tonight. I don't feel like I don't really want to go into other cases today. I think the focus should just be on Caleb and remembering Caleb and sharing his sweet photos and just expressing good thoughts for his family. And so that's really all I have for you guys tonight. And I did need to vent a little bit because it was really frustrating. So that's people for you. So it's very upsetting. But I thank everybody that did tune in. And I'll just quick check, see if I missed any important comments. Thank you, Siobhan. Yes, Siobhan, it's at least they do now have some closure. Thank you, Michelle, for being here for the first time. I hope you come back again under more uplifting circumstances. Yeah. And obviously you guys are great people because everything else that's on there is just comments about how sad it is and how heartbreaking it is, because that's what most people would say or do. today. So thank you guys. Again, I just have like just some of the most amazing people in this little community. And um, I always just feel your passion for the victims. I really do. And it's genuine. And while we all have our own degrees of fascination on the case studies and the true crime aspect of things, um, in the end, I feel like the majority of this community just at the root of it understands these are human beings. These are somebody's children and somebody's loved ones. Um, so yes, all of your comments right now, like just are heartwarming, and I'm grateful for all of you. And so yeah, I will be on tomorrow night, so we can discuss what happens at the plea hearing for Katrina Bauer. Um, so I will be back tomorrow evening for that. Um, yeah, so have a good night. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for those who catch it on the replay. And I hope you all have a good night. And if you are someone who prays, I hope you lift the Harris family up in your prayers or your good thoughts, whatever it may be. And thank you all, and have a great night.